And man, what a week it was to be a Tampa Bay Lightning fan for the last week or so. Last Sunday, I got to attend the Raymond James inaugural. Hopefully they continue that game, and saw what an epic comeback by our Lightning. So proud to be honored as the official real estate agents of the Lightning for more than a decade, and happy to be a part of such a winning team. But what a cool game and cool experience, and I hope they get to do that again. I just hope the next time they do it, maybe it's a little bit warmer. Talking about one of the polarizing things that I see quite regularly with a lot of friends, and it's people, that kind of look to invest in different things. And I want to make the case today for why investing in real estate can be so powerful for you compared to investing in other industries. And one of those industries in particular, cryptocurrency. I have friends that are bleeding this week with the massive downturns in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and Ethereum. I have very little exposure to that, but ultimately when I do see these huge swings in the stock market, in individual stock positions, or in cryptocurrency, it reminds me the value of investing in real estate. I want to talk about the pros and cons of investing in real estate and how our team can help you with that. So if you're thinking about investing in real estate, first and foremost, it's important that you have an investor savvy agent. We have multiple agents on our team that are investor savvy. You can call or text us at 813-359-8990. You can go to the Duncan Duo website. You can look at our reviews online. And if you reach out to us and you inquire about investing in real estate, whether that's commercial real estate, whether that's multifamily, rental property, single family home rentals, whatever path that you're looking to invest in, we have agents that specialize in particular niches. So for example, if you're someone that says, hey, I'm thinking about investing in commercial real estate, you're going to get a different agent. You're going to get Grant on my team or Sam on my team that focus on working with our commercial clients. If you said, hey, I want to buy rentals, and you're going to get Ben or Jackie. If you said, hey, I want to buy, multifamily, that would probably be the same thing, a Grant or a Sam. So on my team, our agents really focus on niches. And I think it's one of the unique differences about working with a group like mine is that my agents will obviously serve a lot of customers, but they have things they specialize in. No different than a large law firm that has personal injury attorneys, divorce attorneys, estate or trust attorneys that are experienced in different niches. We offer the same thing and the same focus. So back to kind of making the case, why to invest in real estate over cryptocurrency or a stock. And certainly I have exposure. I have money in the market. I have stock. I have a lot of real estate. But why real estate is so valuable, for example, the public markets and cryptocurrency have these enormous swings. They're very fast moving markets. A stock may have something bad that happens in the company, and it might drop a massive amount in one day, and then it recovers. And there's this kind of, psychological damage that people go through when their portfolio or one of their positions is down, or where their Bitcoin position is down. And I deal with it when I talk to friends, because I'm like, oh, hey, how's it going? How was your week? And they're like, oh, it was horrible. Crypto crushed me this week. What it made me realize was that, maybe that person wasn't advised properly, and maybe they're not in the right asset class. Because if you're that much into any one particular asset class, when the market drops, you feel that emotional drain. That is one of the beautiful parts about real estate. In addition to the tax benefits, you get some depreciation benefits, you get certain write-offs. You can use other people's money to grow the value of the asset and get renters to pay your mortgage. There are not a lot of assets that allow you to do that, number one. Number two, you don't have these huge swings. Real estate is so slow moving that even things like massive cuts in interest rates. For example, when we've seen 25 or 50 basis point cuts in the public markets, you see a moon effect. You see risk assets massively rise, right? And then when there's not a rate cut, they drop. Real estate doesn't operate the same way. It takes such a long time for these things to impact the real estate market. It just doesn't work that way. When you have this downturn in the real estate market, it takes a long time to get there. Same thing. When you have a huge upswing, it takes a long time to get there. So no one piece of news is moving people psychologically or emotionally like they move with cryptocurrency or the stock market. So an example would be, let's say we have a Fed rate cut. Of course, that might prompt a little bit of demand and increase some transactions if that rate cut trickles down through the treasuries and ends up reducing interest rates. You might see a 1 or 2% swing in price over a several month period. Even in the months that we saw the most massive appreciation we've ever seen, where in an entire year, in our market, we saw the average sale price increase 27 to 30%. That's an average of 2.5% in a month. Your home or an individual home was kind of seeing that same trend, whereas a stock might go up 20% in a day or drop 20% in a day. The psychological damage that can cause for somebody and how it can control their happiness is something you don't deal with in real estate. It's much more consistent. It's much more mentally rewarding, in my opinion, because you don't have those huge swings. The other benefit is that it is an asset you can improve. So when you have investment real estate, you can say, hey, I'm going to go and improve the building. I'm going to go spend money on this, which I then write off. I'm going to go improve the value by doing these things so that I can either increase the rent or improve the value of the property. With cryptocurrency or with stocks, you really can't do that. Now, can you leverage them? Can you take margin against them? Of course you can, but you're not really improving the situation. You're gambling in a sense. That's one of the beautiful things about investing in real estate is that you can buy distressed properties, you can buy damaged properties, you can make improvements to them, sweat equity improvements, even if you don't actually spend money, but you go and work on them. If you own Google stock or you own Bitcoin or Ethereum, you can't show up at Google headquarters in Palo Alto, or you can't show up at a Bitcoin place and say, hey, let me come in here and work today to increase the value of my Bitcoin. Now, you could mine Bitcoin, but there are people that have pretty much mastered that and made it cost prohibitive for an individual person to keep up with that. So should you have all of your money in any one of those asset classes, whether it's the stock market or whether it's the cryptocurrency? In my opinion, no. And I'm not a financial advisor, but I've had a lot of success investing in real estate and in other asset classes. And I can tell you that the emotional upswings and downswings of the public markets and of cryptocurrency can be debilitating. You don't have that same obstacle with real estate. The only time you have those obstacles with real estate, of course, are things like hurricanes or maybe a tenant damaging your property. The difference in real estate with the biggest risks that you have. So the biggest risks that you have in real estate are a storm damaging your property or a fire or a tenant damaging it. Well, that's insurance. That's what insurance is for, to cover your downside risk. The ability to cover your downside risk in cryptocurrency or in the stock market is much more challenging. Can it be done? Yes. You can, short certain industries, you can short certain sectors, you can hedge your bets by betting heavy on one stock and then lighter on another. Are there ways to get insurance in a sense? Yes. However, not completely the same way as real estate, not full protection and not easy click of a button. The challenge with most investors in the public markets that aren't really experienced at it is they're sometimes relying on people that are giving them bad advice that is self-fulfilling, number one. And number two, it turns into gambling. They chase something, they lose a little bit, so then they try and earn it back. The house always wins, okay? You go to Vegas. Are there people that win in Vegas? Yeah. Are there people that win on Polymarket and on Kalshi? Yes. Are there people that win doing day trading? Yes, but they are few and far between. Most of the time when they lose, they make bad choices, they pull out of the investment, and then they try to gamble to win back what they lost. That same thing doesn't really apply to real estate. So you're able to keep consistently hitting singles as a real estate investor. You buy another rental property, you buy some land and you hold it until you can develop it. You buy a multifamily building or a quadplex and you upgrade into an apartment building. All these things are ways that you can leverage the tax consequences as well. So for example, we have a 1031 exchange in investment real estate where you sell, your asset and then you have a gain, but you roll that over into another property and you don't have to pay taxes on it. You don't have the same tax benefits in most other asset classes. If I sell a stock today and I have a gain, I'm paying taxes on that, even if I go buy another stock. There are a lot of different strategies with real estate that make it very tax advantageous. And so that's why I'm a proponent of real estate. If you're somebody that's heavily invested in the stock market and crypto and you're tired of those ups and the downs, please reach out to us. I'd love to align you with one of my team's agents that can help you, focus on investing in real estate and avoid the emotional drawdowns of, what we saw in crypto and in the stock market this week. Focus on hitting singles consistently over time and growing your wealth, because unfortunately the main reason people don't chase real estate is because it takes longer to gain your wealth compared to the hope or the dream that you're going to pick some stock that's going to 10x And the likelihood is that you'll end up losing, because you're gambling. So hopefully that makes sense. We'd love to help you. TheDuncanDuo.com.